isolation, loneliness, financial ruin, depression, even sickness. These are all things that can happen if you don't avoid these costly mistakes when it comes to moving to Tacoma, Washington. My name is Austin. I'm down here at the lovely Proctor District here in Tacoma. And today we're going to go through 5 costly mistakes that you have got to avoid when it comes to making your move out here to Tacoma, Washington. And you're going to want to stick around to the very end. Number 5, well, unfortunately, that's the one I did myself, and it cost me a ton. If you want to learn how to move to Tacoma, Washington without feeling a ton of pain, stick around. We're getting after it right now. Chris, myself, and our team, we're getting phone calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you. We're actually looking to make their move out here to Tacoma. So whether you're looking at making your move here in the next 3 days or even the next 3 months, shoot us a phone call, text, or an email. Even better, set up a Zoom call so we can help you make that smooth move out to Tacoma. And if you want to know everything going on right here and right here inside of our local market, just hit that little subscribe button and ding the bell so you'll never miss one of our videos. I think very few things could be more important than where you actually live in the city. And by that, I mean your neighborhood. See, Tacoma, like Seattle, is different than I believe a lot of other cities, in the sense that Tacoma is more like a conglomerate of a bunch of tiny neighborhoods pushed together to create big Tacoma. Tacoma's different neighborhoods vary in education, safety, and overall vibes. Places like North End, Old Town, and Ruston are a little bit more scenic, cost a little bit more money, and are a little closer to downtown, while areas like Hilltop and South Tacoma can provide you much more affordable living, but might not have all the amenities that you're looking for. Tacoma Public Schools services the city of Tacoma, and schools from one area to the next can be extremely varied in how they're ran, what type of extracurricular activities there are, how safe the schools are, how good the testing scores are. So anyone with school-age children should take the time and research the neighborhoods they're interested in to see if the schools in the area fit the vibe that they're looking for. Here in Tacoma, an additional thing that you have to consider is the geography of Tacoma. So a lot of these neighborhoods like Old Town and other neighborhoods that are right on the waterfront, like let's say some of the great condo developments down on Point Ruston, while they're beautiful and they sit up on these major hills and just overlook the water, they're also more prone to flooding if that were to ever happen. And they also have, a lot of times, stricter zoning regulations placed on them. So this is something that you need to consider when you are looking at these neighborhoods. Almost had a client from Arizona buy a house that had the Puyallup River actually run through the backyard. It was absolutely stunning to look at, but when we went back and looked at it, that backyard had actually flooded several times, and additional flood insurance was required on that home, and it was crazy expensive. So again, just a big mistake that you've got to avoid is rushing into the wrong neighborhood. Find the spot that fits your family. We can dial that in through our search, narrow it down, and then it's just a matter of finding the right home in the right neighborhood. But don't get caught in the wrong place. Ignoring our weather patterns here in Tacoma is a costly mistake that I see a lot of people make, especially those coming from warmer or drier climates. We do tend to get a lot of rain here in Tacoma, and so for those that come from the warmer or more dry climates, not really getting prepared for what that looks like can take a really big toll on some families, both in their physical health and in their mental health. Really learning and understanding the times of the year where we're going to have this, more extreme weather, and not just the rain, but also the periods of time where it's just more gray here in Tacoma than anything, can really save you and your family a lot of pain. From really about Thanksgiving until February, you're gonna see a lot of dark skies. You're gonna see a lot of gray. You're gonna see a lot of rain. Now the rain here is not the torrential downpour that you see on TV. It's more of like a mist or maybe a drizzle. Seems like it just kind of never really stops. Now, of course, here in the summer, we have the most beautiful weather that you are ever gonna experience in your life. I mean, really, then it's just getting out and having a lot of fun. Even in the summer, though, you have to account for the fact that most of the homes out here do not have air conditioning. Now, there's about 1 in every 2 homes here still does not have air conditioning in the house. And on the rare chance that we do get a super, super hot day, this can cause problems. So knowing, the place that you're moving into is gonna have AC or it's not can really help you prepare for how you're going to create that plan if you do have one of those days that is brutally hot in the summer. About 2 years ago, we actually had 13 days that were over 90 degrees. And I got to tell you, I found myself jumping in a lake pretty much every single one of those days. I didn't even work. The office building didn't have AC, so we didn't really find ourselves able to withstand it, even coming from the Midwest where we are more used, I think, to these extreme temperatures. So you've got to plan, you've got to prepare, and you've got to get ready for the weather out here. Have the conversations with your family. If somebody suffers with depression or any form of mental illness, it's a really great idea that when you get here, you do get established with a doctor quickly. I also recommend taking vitamin D, using some form of a sunlight lamp, and on a day like today where it's just absolutely beautiful outside, you get outside and take advantage of it. Traffic congestion in Tacoma is a very common issue, especially during peak travel hours. Failing to consider commute times and traffic patterns can result in some pretty crazy delays throughout your day, increased stress, and decreased quality of living. I really can't overstate how important it is for families to research routes to and from work, proximity to work, proximity to fun things to do in the neighborhood, and to your children's schools. You have to take all of these things into consideration when choosing the right neighborhood for you. The neighborhood that we live in now, I have maybe did not spend enough time on this, and while it's the perfect neighborhood for my wife and kids, as someone that gets out and travels on a regular basis for work, I catch myself with very, very long commute times, and it can cause a lot of frustration for me. Sometimes when I have to go back into the office, or if I have to go meet a client that should be right in the heart of the city, it sounds like it'll be an easy move, but it could take me upwards of an additional 20 to 40 minutes each way to get where I'm going. This is costly not just with your time, but also your financial resources, in the fact that you're going to be spending more money on fuel, on auto maintenance, probably grabbing a snack or a coffee in between. Let's be honest about that, right? But again, you're also missing more time at home with the family, with your spouse, with your significant other, with your friends. So one big costly mistake that people make when they move here is they really do not take into account these traffic patterns. So this is something we need to look at before we ever craft an offer on a house. People get really excited about living in the Pacific Northwest. And if you just look at this lush greenery behind me, it's no wonder. But one thing that people overlook that can be very serious, especially based on the diverse level of flora that grows all over Tacoma, is seasonal allergies. And you're probably thinking, Austin, did you really just include seasonal allergies as a top 5 costly mistakes when moving to Tacoma? Like, bro, are you serious?
You serious?
I'm gonna tell you, yes, I am absolutely including this as one of the biggest, costliest mistakes you can make when moving to Tacoma. And obviously I'm going to tell you why. There is so much grass, pollen, different types of trees, moss, mold, everything you could possibly imagine grows out here in the PNW. Living in Missouri, I suffered awfully with seasonal allergies. When we moved out here though, they went away. Like, I have not had any issues at all. But I see people suffer pretty dramatically in the spring and summer with bad allergies. And this unfortunately includes my wife, who in the Midwest never had a single bout of allergies. Living in Tacoma is just different than living wherever you came from, and you need to be ready for that. So if you or your family has issues with seasonal allergies, when you move out here, the best way to avoid that is to just go ahead and go talk with a doctor. Have that conversation with them and watch it over time. Otherwise, some of these allergies can be basically life interrupting. It can make it almost impossible just to get through the day. If you have bad seasonal allergies and you know that in advance, please take care of it before you move out here. I told you to stick around because this is the one thing that I did that I definitely could have been better, and it was a major costly mistake for me moving into Tacoma, Washington, was not getting integrated into the community. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I talk a lot about all the great things that go on in Tacoma, but when we first moved out here, I really did one thing. I worked. I was restarting my real estate business, so I just put my head down and I got to work. And I completely forgot about the social aspects of living in a new place. I really kind of found myself making sure my kids were, getting integrated in their school and they were, making friends. But I completely forgot in that moment to take care of myself socially. I didn't make a point to find a church home quickly. I didn't get plugged in right away with any good networking groups, with the Chamber of Commerce, with any major real estate groups. I was just kind of living on my own, me and my wife. Go to work, be done, chill out at the house. And that's even more dangerous living here because there's so much to do as far as entertainment, as far as nature, that it's easy to kind of avoid having to go meet new people. You have to make a point to do it. One of our clients from LA, Veronica, she has been on a tangent. She's went up to Seattle, Bellevue, Port Orchard. She's doing everything she can to plug in and meet humans that have similar age, similar desires, similar interests, and she's really flourishing. So what do? Well, I'm a huge fan of church. I think it's a great place to build community. But if that's not your thing, there's plenty of trade associations, obviously your kids' school, kids' sports, Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, whatever. And when you're moving out here, because I've went through this, and this is why you got to call me, because I've done all of this myself and I know exactly what it's like. I can help you find the right group of people that you can connect with on your move. If you don't listen to me here, undoubtedly, this will be the costliest mistake you make moving out to Tacoma, Washington. There you have it. Those are the 5 biggest, most costly mistakes that I can honestly think of that myself and our clients have had when moving to Tacoma. So again, if you're looking to make your move out here to Tacoma, just shoot us a phone call, text, or an email. Be happy to help you get that going. And until next time, I cannot wait till you're out here so we can show you around.